So late last week, I had a few sort of spare minutes in the craziness of setting up the new studio and tweaking things. And I'll talk to you on the bonus show about what's going on with all that. I said, let's see what's happening on the news. And I kind of flipped around the cable news networks to see what was going on. I like to see what's happening on Fox, MSNBC, and CNN. And I turned to CNN, and Jake Tapper was filling in for Aaron Burnett's program. And he was in the middle of fact checking Donald Trump. And I don't even remember what he was fact checking at the time. It might have been something related to the immigrant caravan, or it might have been something related to taxes. I don't even really remember at this point, but it doesn't matter. Because as I watched it, it became clearer than ever to me that fact checking Donald Trump is effectively a pointless waste of time. And what I mean is the following. When CNN fact checks Trump, who cares, in the sense that you either already know that Trump lies all the time and you care about that, or you will call CNN fake news because that has been the sort of resounding, repeated talking point that we've seen from Trump and the people around him about anybody who tries to say that he is either saying things that aren't true or attacking people incorrectly or whatever else he might be doing. And even when you have these other fact checkers, or I guess we could call them lie trackers, correct Trump, PolitiFact or the Washington Post has like a lie tracker of some kind. Donald Trump has already preemptively, successfully primed the pump such that people hear fact checking. Oh, Trump is being fact checked. Those are the lies. That's the fake news. And this is in a way brilliant. It's brilliant in how effectively it has worked. And you've got to really understand how bad this is. A focus on truth is no longer viable as a strategy of enlightening people as to what's going on politically and moving the needle. It doesn't matter. So if you said, you know what, I'm going to try to step back from the left-right sort of paradigm, and instead of just criticizing things from a left-right perspective, I'm going to focus just on truth. I'm going to try to figure out as closely as it's possible to do this sort of epistemologically, what is true and what is not true. That narrative has been co-opted and maybe even better than co-opted. It has been debased and made irrelevant, where even just saying, I don't care about partisan bickering, I care about what we can demonstrate with fact, Trump has already primed the pump so that his followers, and too many of those who say, I'm not a Trumpist, but will not care about that. This is a massive debasement of the discourse around American politics, but it's where we are. And we still want to win, I think. And that's where the motivation for saying this comes from. That's where I'm motivated to say fact checking Trump in this way is a pointless waste of time. Instead of fact checking, there's going to need to be, again, if the focus is winning, and there's a place for a focus on truth, but if the focus is winning, there needs to be a complete and total shift towards how is our platform going to benefit people who work? How is it going to benefit people in the lower middle class? How is it not a threat from the left that you will lose status, either real or perceived, if Democrats win? Because again, I'm not saying I believe that that's actually a risk, but the Trumpists perceived that he would protect them from a loss of the status they either believe they have, actually have, or hope to have in the future. And the Trumpists have pulled off a brilliant emotional scam, because it's no longer a sort of rational basis on which they appeal to voters. It's an emotional basis that they use to appeal to voters. It is their side that claims the facts don't care about their feelings. You know, that phrase that's become popular. Their entire platform is based on feeling and emotion. It doesn't matter if the Pentagon said, as I will tell you later on in the show, that the immigrant caravan is not a threat to the national security of the United States. If they feel like it is, and if they can be sold a bill of goods that claims that it is, then that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if tax cuts for the rich just allow the rich to hoard money without helping the economy, which is the reality. If it feels like the fair thing to do is to let rich people keep all their money or more of their money, because after all, it's their money and they create jobs. If that feels like a good argument, it's going to work. It doesn't matter if the facts don't bear it out. And look at how bad they are and how much they lie is totally accurate. I talk about that on the show and others talk about it. But it's not allowed Democrats to win in a country that keeps moving to the left. More and more people believe, for example, that the government has a basic right to provide a basic duty to provide everybody with some basic level of health care. More and more people than ever believe that. And yet our elected officials keep moving to the right, depending on how you measure it. This is absurd. And it is very easy for the left to take this approach of, hold on a second, if we just talk sense to people and tell them what the facts are, we will win. Well, go look at the YouTube comments on my channel. Go look at the tweets that I get. Travel to Indiana, as I recently did, or go to Politicon and talk to these people, and you will realize if we just say the truth will win out, we're fighting an unwinnable battle. And showing people the facts, explaining to them that their priorities are misguided and part of this decade-long right-wing scam to trick them into supporting the same status quo that got us into this mess just doesn't work, okay? And a ton of people, I know people will write in and say, David, a lot of these people are just dumb. Well, dumb is sort of starting to get ad hominem-y, but there are people who lack the cognitive capacity to understand a lot of these issues. But many others are just living their lives. They're trying to earn a living. They don't have time to dig deeper than whatever slanted headlines they're getting or whatever catchphrase Trump is using. And Vox calls this an epistemic crisis. The idea is if one side rejects the epistemic authority of fact checking and of knowable truth, however you want to say it, the truth no longer matters and it no longer speaks for itself. Climate change is an example. Climate science explains what's happening. It's overwhelming. It's clear. But so what? It hasn't changed the narrative among much of the right at all. And the more facts they're presented with, they either ignore, bury their head in the sand, come up with new anti-scientific arguments. Because once you question the authority of the scientist, which is what they've done, once you question the value of the media in general, because you portray them as the enemy of the people, you are no longer arguing on the merits of arguments. You're arguing in terms of power. Fact checking can work when you have a society where authority and trustworthiness and power depend on what is demonstrable, what you can prove, and what the facts are. It doesn't right now because we've fallen very, very far. So we need something else. I'm not sure what, but it has to start with voting tomorrow, because if Democrats recover some of the lost political capital tomorrow, then maybe we have something to talk about. If Democrats recover nothing in the midterms, I hate to tell you this, but it's going to be another 2 years of exactly what we've had. So people need to vote. Today's program is sponsored in part by Debitize, offering you $10 just for trying their free service at debitize.com/Pakman. This is a free app that can actually help a lot of people get into better situations with their personal finances, because what Debitize does is it turns any credit card into a debit card, meaning you can still earn your credit card rewards and build credit and get points or miles or whatever it is that your credit card offers. But you eliminate the risk of going into debt you can't afford, or of accruing late fees or paying interest, because when you sign up and link your credit card to your checking account, you use your credit card like you normally would, and at the end of the day, Debitize will withdraw however much you charged on your card that day from your checking account and set it aside without overdrafting your account. At the end of the month, Debitize has already paid your credit card bill for you on time and automatically. This is a really good way for people who want an easier way to pay bills on time. And it's also excellent for people who are trying to stay on a budget and not go into debt by spending more money than they have. It's also perfect if you're looking to have a risk-free, hassle-free way of building credit and earning rewards points. And once you set it up, you don't have to go in and mess with anything. It's completely automatic. This is a really important thing. When I got my first credit card with like a $500 limit or something like that. At that point, I decided I don't charge anything I can't pay off at the end of the month. And I have thought of my credit card as a debit card forever. And it's a really great practice for people to get into. You can enjoy Debitize totally free for as long as you want by clicking the link under this video, and Debitize will give you $10 just for trying it out.